at all. But, yeah, I think it's a top 5 movie for me. I haven't really thought about it too much in terms of my top movies of all time, but it's up there for sure. So what makes it so enjoyable for me? I'm just gonna start with like basic stuff. Is the music. Hans Zimmer, man, Hans Zimmer. What a great composer. He did the score for this, Kung Fu Panda, believe it or not, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Inception, and man, he makes fantastic music. But the story behind how the main theme for Interstellar came about was pretty neat. I hope I don't say it wrong or give the wrong information, but from what I understand, Christopher Nolan said to write a score or write a piece of music about the relationship between a father and son, and that was it. That's all he got. No setting, no space setting, no time period. He just said, write a what you think that would sound like. He didn't even tell him it was father and daughter, not father and son, but that's all Hans Zimmer had to go on, and that's what he went with. And what he returned with is something truly special. It's one of those, the main theme of Interstellar is one of those pieces that I can, well, the whole soundtrack, because I've listened to it so much, but especially the main theme is something that, I can safely say that, no matter how old I get, I hear that, that tune, that melody. Again, I'm not musically inclined, so that might not be the right terms, but I hear the main theme, and I'll immediately know where it's from, and it'll always invoke some sort of, emotion out of me. But, yeah, one of my favorites is Mountains. Just, oh, man, there's a lot of great music in the soundtrack, but Mountains is a good one for just, thriller. You really get that sense of urgency with the metronome, clicking in the background. It's just great. But Christopher Nolan also knows when to not use music, because, obviously the film's about space, and the movie's about space. And the lack of music when it shows, certain shots outside of the ship, to kind of represent, at least what I think it represents is, it's space, there's nothing, what was it, Aliens, their, slogan is that no one can hear you scream in space, or something like that, and that's true, because, space is quiet, so, having that element of, they're all alone out in space, there's no music, there's no dialogue, it's just, I don't know, it helps really, immerse you in that setting, I think. But besides the music, the visuals of just space and the CGI of the wormholes and the black hole, everything is just stunning. The math and work that they put in to accurately portray what a black hole looks like, because they did simulations for it. Actually, I think they got 2 research papers out of it. I don't know two research papers. Jeez, I can't speak. There were two research papers made because of the math and the simulations done to accurately to represent a black hole, which is pretty neat. But yeah, I don't know, just the CGI and the shots of space are just really amazing to me. I know some people don't like space, and that's fine. I get it. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the ocean. You know, people don't like the ocean because it goes so deep. You don't really know what lives down there. And yeah, sorry, I don't want to talk about that. But obviously, if you don't like space, you're not gonna watch Interstellar, or at least not 7+ times. But to get into more of like the meat and potatoes of why I love the movie so much. And after I watched it, I actually ended up watching some reactions because, I'm that type of guy where if I love something, I want to see other people reacting to it. I want to get different point of views. It's fun to see other people get as excited as you when you watch something or play something or whatever. And that's kind of like the core reason why I do these, is because I think I said it in the first one I did, but when I watched like gaming, game store roleplays of various content creators like Articulate Design, Fred's Voice, GB, whoever, when they were really passionate about a game or whatever, I don't know, it just made me excited and really want to listen. I don't know, maybe that's like taking away from being relaxing because you're engrossed in what they had to say, but I don't know. Bottom line is, when people enjoy the same things I do and show that, I don't know, I feel as like a connection, and I don't know, it just makes me feel good. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked and rambled, but that happens here quite a bit. So, one of the main reasons why I enjoy the movie so much, I just had a British accent there almost for a second, is that even if you don't completely understand what's happening, because it is kind of a complex movie, or at least, not that you need to be, a genius to understand Interstellar. That's not what I'm trying to say. Is that there's a lot that happens, and it's easy to miss things, which is partially the reason why I saw it so many times. But some of those reactions that I watched, they were like, yeah, I didn't quite get it, but, that's okay. The main thing that people took away from it, and one of the main things I take away from it, is just at the meat and bones of the movie, it's about a father and daughter relationship. And no matter how complex the, overarching story is for, space and time travel, or the lack of time travel, and fourth and fifth dimensions, and, that's all part of the story, but at the core, it's about a father and daughter relationship, and that's something that I think mostly everyone can relate to, just a child and their guardian. Doesn't even have to be a father, doesn't have to be a daughter, whoever. But, it's, at its core is what it is, and it does it so well. You really, at least for me, you feel that, when Cooper leaves Murph for the first time, or, when it first happens and he leaves and, he checks the passenger seat because Murph snuck in there before and she's not there, and he starts crying, and, that hits hard, but then, it's all just kind of a setup for when they go to, oh man, I'm blanking on the scientist that landed on the water planet. It's not Man. It's Ice Planet. Oh man, it's gonna kill me. Alright, well, I guess I didn't like the movie as much as I thought. But yeah, the water planet. When they come back, and it's 23 years has passed, and Cooper has to watch the messages from his children, or I guess it's mainly his son, and him growing up without him, and, you know, when he met his future wife, and when he has a kid, and then, you know, finally coming to terms that, hey, maybe, you know, maybe you're just lost in space and I'm just sending these out for no reason, but, you know, in reality, Cooper's there and he's trying his best, and he has to watch his son at least grow up and then kind of give up on him because he doesn't think he's coming back, and that's just, it's tough. And man, it's such a tough scene to watch. And then Murph comes on and she's like, well, you once promised, or you once said that we might be the same age when you come back, and now she's the age that he was when he left. But one of the reactions I watched as well was like, man, Matthew McConaughey, and that scene is just amazing because you're just sitting there in front of, you know, the whole cast, and they're like, alright, you're gonna look into this, you know, camera, this box, and you're just gonna cry. Just on command, and just have all this emotion, and it's just, he did such a good job in that scene, but in particular, I mean, he does a good job throughout the movie, but that scene was just, that's one of the scenes where it just kind of hits you. And if you hear like a floorboard creaking, that's me, because I have to stand up and I'm moving from side to side, and you might hear some floorboards. But also, besides all that great acting, you get the dual perspective between, you know, what Cooper is going through in his journey, and then you have eventually, you know, adult Murph, you know, trying to come to terms with, hey, maybe my dad left me here to die. He knew that, you know, he knew that the Earth was coming to an end. We're gonna run out of food and suffocate on Earth. Maybe he knew and he just wanted to leave us here. And, you know, that's tough. And like I said before, it's just, you know, a father and daughter relationship. And there's one scene in particular that gets me, and I'm pretty sure it gets a lot of people that watch it, or maybe not, but for me, it's the most heavy-hitting line in the entire movie, and it gets me every single time, without fail, like no lie, like at least a tear, sometimes a lot more. But when Cooper gets out of the Tesseract, and he's meeting, you know, old Murph, and she says, or he says, oh man, I'm trying to get it right, so Murph says, they thought I was crazy, but I knew that you would come back. And Cooper says, how? And then she goes, because my dad promised me. I'm gonna need to look that up. Oh man, I ruined the delivery. Okay, I know, but holy cow! And with the music in the background, like that, it hits perfectly right in that moment. Yeah, it's like they thought I was crazy, but I knew you'd come back. And he goes, how? She goes, because my dad promised me. And I'm just like, oh my god, you can't do that to me. That's illegal. But every time without fail, I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it, but holy moly. And, you know, what's cool space stuff is, as cool as, fourth and fifth dimensions and how mind-boggling it is, even if you understand it or don't, you understand that line that hits. And I think that's, something special about the movie, like I said, that you can have this, like, complicated, like, coding, but at its core has something so, like, raw and emotional that anyone can pick up on. And I think it just balances the two very well. But, to go, move on. The other reason why I like the movie is because it makes you think, right? As much as I love the connections, like the human emotion and connection you have with the characters, it also made me think. I like space. I like higher dimensions, or like thinking about it at least. I'm not, super smart, but I don't know. It's just something that I've thought about, and yeah, it's something I'm interested in. But the fact that it makes you think, and there's all these like questions in the beginning that get answered in the end, in a very creative way, I think is well done. But yeah, like the bookcase and, the book falling out as Cooper's about to leave, the lander, all that stuff, the dust that gives them the coordinates to NASA. And then at the end you realize it's all goop and a tesseract, and how the fifth dimensional beings see time as something they can jump in and jump out of. But they can't pinpoint it, which is why they need him there. Oh, it's so interesting. I don't necessarily want to talk about the, fourth and fifth dimension theory. One, because I don't really know anything about it, just of what YouTube videos have told me. But at the same time, I do, because I'm interested by it, and I just want to get it out there and see what people think. But one of the things that I took away from just looking up, information about it, is that we are technically fourth dimensional beings, right? Because you have your X, your Y axis, right? And you have your Z axis, which is, your three dimensions, your three-dimensional objects. But if you were to meet someone, you would give them coordinates, like a place. But you would also give them a time. I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said, you can't give a time without a place, nor can you give a place without a time if you're trying to meet someone. So we're beings of fourth dimensions, and we can manipulate the three dimensions. And eventually, in Interstellar, we evolve to be fifth dimensional beings, which means that we can access time as easily as our three dimensions, but we can't pinpoint. But the five-dimensional beings can't pinpoint moments in time. It's a mountain they can climb, or a valley they can explore, or whatever, Dr. Brand, Anne Hathaway, whatever she says. But yeah. But the crazy thing is the physical representation of time in the Tesseract, which is really cool, because that's what it would be. It would be infinite possibilities. Because the Tesseract is pretty much an infinite possibilities of Murph's room at a particular moment. And another cool thing that they did, I thought, was when Cooper is in the Tesseract, you see one Murph move almost like if you were to put two cameras next to each other, or look at two mirrors, and it would, you do one thing and then, slightly after, something else would said, there's like a ripple effect. One move moves, and then in the next image, or the next like subsection below or across, she moves. Like slightly, very slightly after, but as you look further, it's more noticeable. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. But basically all I'm trying to say is that the physical representation of a four-dimensional tesseract of time in a place is really cool. So, to summarize, the reason why I love Interstellar: the music, Hans Zimmer, fantastic job, my god. That soundtrack I've listened to, I can't even fathom how much I've listened to that soundtrack. But, yeah, the music, the scenery of, just space and the black hole and, the spaceships and everything. And then the core of the story being a father and daughter relationship, and the fact that, even if you don't, quite understand everything else that's going on, you can still, I'm trying to figure out a way to word this, like, in my head. Even though you don't necessarily understand, like, everything that's going on in the movie, that is the main thing that they focus on and what you take away, and it doesn't ever feel like it's like a side plot, or you never feel like it's not important, right? It's not like it because you don't understand the science or whatever, you're missing out. And just man, I can't find the words, but I'm not cutting this out because it's just good rambling at this point. But bottom line, I think that theme makes you feel such strong emotion, and I think that's very special. And I think that the balance between that and having the overarching, complicated, dimensional stuff is balanced very well. Neither side is very overwhelming in the story. And yeah, it also makes you think, which is another thing I liked about it. And it's good for a rewatch because you'll probably pick up something that you didn't get the first time around. But yeah, music, the visuals, the father-daughter relationship, and how prevalent it is, and the fact that it makes you think and explores higher dimensions in space, which are things that I like. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. It's already been about 25 minutes. I was not expecting that, but then again, I never really expect to ramble for as long as I do. I only have a handful of notes and then I just go off. And especially this one was kind of raw. I didn't really cut a lot. There wasn't really a lot of pauses. Although maybe I should have cut some things out. Who knows? Again, sorry if there was floor creaks or like wind or wind chimes in the background because it is windy out. And also my floor kind of creaks a bit. But I think the next one that I do will be on the anime Haikyu, because the last time I posted a video, I was like just started watching it, or I just finished it, and I was obsessed with that anime for a while. I still am, but not as much as I was when I first finished it. The 4th season is going to finish this Friday, so I'm gonna binge it all. But I'm probably gonna rewatch seasons 1 through 3 first. But yeah, that'll probably be the next next one. I don't know when that'll be. But, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it because I don't upload consistently, and I don't use a camera often, and yeah, I don't know, it just means a lot that people even watch my stuff because it's basically just, there's no visual triggers, it's just me whispering about stuff that I like